listeners. I hope all of you are improving yourselves by watching the videos which I upload on this channel very regularly. If you have any problems or if you are improving, please write in detail in the comment box because as you comment, you practice your English. You practice thinking and you also practice writing. And if you read that, you also practice reading and speaking. Read it aloud. Today's video is about making an impressive presentation. Presentation is very important for all of us because at different points in our life, we need to make presentations. A small child, when he or she goes to school, in the first class or nursery classes, they do some recitation, Baba, black sheep, and so on. So the child prepares at home, and the child also learns actions, twinkle, twinkle, little star. All these make the presentation better, the visual impact of presentation. As we grow up and start working, presentation becomes very important. You might have to make an oral presentation in a meeting. You might have to make a presentation to a client using a PowerPoint. You might have to make a presentation online where your audience is in some other location. You might have to make a face-to-face presentation which is only a small part of a larger presentation. You have few points which you have to say, the other members of your team will say the others. So you have to coordinate. All these different types of presentations are important. Now, another thing which I've already uploaded a video, and that is public speaking. That also is a presentation. I have uploaded a video on extempore speaking, speaking without preparation. That also is a presentation. When you have a script in front of you and you read it out in a seminar or conference, that also is a presentation. So there are different kinds of presentations. I will tell you generally about presentation today, how to make it better, how to make it impressive. But all those of you who make presentations regularly or who need something may write it in the comment by saying, please elaborate more on this type of presentation. Then I will make a separate video on all the types I mentioned. See, I mentioned to you a face-to-face presentation or a digital online presentation. Something where the audience is remote. I told you about a team presentation. I told you about an individual presentation. I told you about presentation only using your voice and presentation using the PowerPoint, using charts, graphs, statistics, or presentation where you have a prepared paper and you circulate it with everybody. There your reading skill is very important. You read and then you explain. Explanation is not there in the text. Only what you're reading is there in the text. So let us begin. How does one make a good presentation? The first point you have to remember is that whenever you're making a presentation, you must be well prepared. Preparation is most important in a presentation. That is a point which I cannot stress enough. Again and again, if I repeat preparation, that is not sufficient because you must know everything about what you are going to present. If you know only half of what you're going to present, then your presentation is faulty. Do a lot of hard work do a lot of research, find out what you are expected to do in the presentation, think about it carefully, and then start preparing. Preparation is at different levels. One is your mental preparation. All the ideas which you have must be in your mind. Then there must also be mental preparation, self confidence, the feeling that what I'm going to say is going to make a difference to the listener. They're going to learn something, they're going to benefit by my presentation. So you have to prepare your mind, you have to also discipline your thoughts, arrange your thoughts in the right way so that the presentation comes out well. Now, the next point is researching your topic. Research is important. Research does not mean reading many books only. Research also means finding out from other people. You can carry out a survey. Suppose you are making a presentation about a particular program which you want to write about or you want to describe. You want to write a review. Then you ask 10 people, what did you think of this program? When you do that, that is research. Reading up about this, thinking about, what you have seen, what you have evaluated, how you have interpreted, all this is research. That brings us to the next point, and that is preparing a first draft. There are many ways in which you can prepare for the presentation. That is the drafting part of it. Either if your memory is good and you can recollect everything, then you can make it an extempore presentation where I have already told you this in another video, where you have the ideas in your mind, the words come out because you have practiced many times. That is the first draft. There is no written draft. Suppose you have a tough subject. You are going to talk about minerals to be found in this area of the world. Then it's a tough subject. It's a very scientific study. It is something where you have to know a geology and you have to know people who are working in this field. Therefore, you need to note down the points. So one way of drafting is when you write down 5 or 10 points which you know about. You know what to say about these points. And when you start speaking, you elaborate each sentence, 1 point, 1 sentence, into 2-3 paragraphs or 20 sentences. Then once you do that, your presentation becomes clear. You have the paper in front of you, but you're not reading from the paper. You're not looking at the paper only and not looking at the audience at all. Of course, in this, long distance presentation, I'm only looking at the camera. I'm not able to look at all of you. But when you comment, when you like the video, I immediately communicate with you. That is one way in which we are communicating. That is why I keep telling you to like the video and then also comment. In the comments, you can write how many people you shared the video with and what did they say. That is called survey. Just now I mentioned that preparation research is survey. So share the video with 5 of your friends. Then after a day, ask the 5 friends, tell us 5 sentences in English about the video. Then you note down those 5 sentences, summarize them into 1 or 2 sentences. Now you have 10 sentences because you had 5 friends. If you do these things, you will find your presentation skills are improving. The other way of preparation is that you prepare slides or you prepare graphs which you can circulate or you can show using a projector. You have a projector where you put your transparencies and they can see it on the screen. Or you have the PowerPoint, which is a very powerful tool, but you have to use it very carefully. I will tell you about how to use the PowerPoint presentation. But now I'm talking only about drafting. I'm not talking about making the presentation. So, whatever you want to say, put it on the slides. Please note that the slide should be readable size. Also, you must remember that you should not say everything on the slide. You must only mention some points. It must not be elaborate description in small size font where you are not needed. Your presentation is unnecessary because everything is there on the PowerPoint. This you have to keep in mind, that the PowerPoint is one way of drafting because that summarizes all your points and it puts it in front of the audience. The visual impact of the PowerPoint is very good on the audience, but it is not for you. Please remember that if you are showing the PowerPoint here, you are standing and speaking here, you can't keep looking back and checking the points. The points will be with you. You have your laptop in front of you, but try to elaborate the points in your own language. Now we come to the presentation proper. I have given you background, how to prepare, how to research, and how to draft. Now we come to the presentation. How to make the presentation. To make your presentation impressive, you must learn formal English, correct English, confident and spontaneous expression. All these videos are already there on the channel. If you watch each of those videos 5 or 10 times, I know you're busy, I know you have no time, but if you really want to learn, you need to do that. To make your presentation impressive, you need to first learn to speak confidently. Learn to be comfortable with the use of English. I told you in one video that our English teachers told us the day you start dreaming in English, dreaming, you're sleeping and a dream comes, but the language is English, then you know that you are improving. Then you know that you're learning. I will tell you with what difficulty I learnt English. I will tell you how impossible it is for us to learn a language unless we work very hard. So all of you who are really keen to work, please remember that I'm giving you a variety of videos, a large canvas, not the same kind of video in all the new videos which are uploaded. Each video is different. Each video is new. I saw a comment yesterday saying, which video to watch first? Another comment, please number your videos. I cannot do that because different levels of learners come to the channel. Different age groups come to the channel. People with different requirement come to the channel. I cannot give you all the same thing. It is like going for a party where there is only one item. All of you have to eat the same item. You can't call it a party. You can just call it that, one item is something which we are never satisfied with. So this channel is giving you a great variety, and that is what you need to use. So when you learn English, when you become comfortable and confident in English, when you become fluent and don't make mistakes in the use of English, then you are ready for making a formal presentation because you want to impress everybody. An impressive presentation does not come with mistakes. An impressive presentation does not say, what I mean is, I think, I feel. These fillers are not allowed in a presentation. Please understand, when you are making a presentation, you should be clear about what you are saying, and the clarity should be very concise. You should say it in the briefest possible time. You should not say it at great length. Once you do this, you find that your presentation is better. So, step one in actual presentation is that you first hone your English. You first measure your English and make it better. Then you start preparing for the presentation. Once you stand in front of the audience, you might have to change your style of presentation. Now I'm talking to you about the actual presentation. So, if you see an audience which knows everything, you have to raise your style. You have to raise the standard of your presentation. If you find that people who are the audience don't know much about the subject you're speaking, then you have to lower your level to their level. Suppose I'm talking to you about English. If I go to English teachers, I will speak in a different way. If I talk to students of English MA, I will talk in a different way. If I'm talking to students who are learning English for the first time, they are adult learners, but they have never learnt English in their life. I cannot use the English which I used for the teachers or for the MA students. I need to use that English. I need to put it like that. So you should have a wide range of abilities to use English. Somebody asked me, Madam, do ISC sentence transformation? Some comment. Now, you don't need to learn sentence transformation. You need to learn the rules. All transformation comes easily. So please remember that whenever you are making a presentation, you must suit the audience's requirement. This we call as the audience skill. Suppose there is a microphone, you have a mic in front of you. Then is it a mic which is standing on a table? Is it a mic which is portable? You have to move around using it. You must be aware of this because your presentation depends on how much can be heard. If there is no mic, then will you be able to raise your voice? Practice by raising your voice. I remember in school they used to tell us, voice modulation, voice adjustment, huge playground in the school. We had to command the march past by raising our voice, not by using a microphone. That way, our voices became trained in school itself. Now, these days, schools might not be doing all this for you. Therefore, you need to do it yourself. I used to tell my own students in the campus of Osmania University that go to the park or go to the lawn. Nobody is there in the evening. Raise your voice so that your presentation skill improves. As future teachers of English, you need to have a good modulation. Similarly, for all presenters, if you speak softly, if you speak as though you're speaking only to one person audience, then that is not called a presentation. There might be only one person in the room listening to your presentation, but you have to let the voice carry. Now we come to a PowerPoint presentation. When you use a PowerPoint, it is not correct for you to look at the slides and read from them because You are telling your audience, see, you can't read English, so I'm reading it out to you. That's not what you mean. You are giving them to read and you are speaking. So the PowerPoint is like a supplement, it is like your support. Your presentation is main and support, subordinate level is the PowerPoint. Use the PowerPoint. If you forget a point, look at the PowerPoint. But don't read from the PowerPoint. If you have it in front of your screen on your laptop also, please do not read. You look at the audience. Eye contact is very important. If there are 10 people in the room, try to look at all 10 of them. If there are 100 people in the auditorium, try to look in each direction. You can't look at all 100 individually, but you can look from your left to your right, to the center, to everywhere, front and back, everybody. This makes your audience feel involved. And the last point in the presentation is how you handle questions. When audience asks you questions, either you answer it if you know. If you don't know, please don't hesitate to say, I don't know. No harm in saying, I don't know. Instead, many people try to beat about the bush. That is an idiom, to beat about the bush. That means to go around and round, but not come to the actual answer. That is not correct. The audience gets very irritated with such a presentation. Therefore, either you know the answer, tell them. If you don't know the answer, then you can. Suppose they make a comment. The comment might not be something which you have presented. Then you can appreciate them by saying, that's a nice point of view. That's a different point of view from mine, but I think it deserves attention. In this way, you need to be very polite with the audience. You should not have a fight or an argument with the audience. Later, one-to-one, you can call that person and say, I didn't like the way you said it, or I didn't agree. But always politeness. When we learn a language, we also learn its culture. English is a very polite language, so we are polite always. We try to be formal, we try to be polite, confident, and clear about what we want to say. When you do this, the last point was audience skill. And the last idea I mentioned is answering the audience questions, appreciating the audience's point of view. If you do all this, if you practice every day one presentation for just 1 week, every day you make a 10 or 15-minute presentation. Use a PowerPoint if you have that facility. After a week, I can guarantee you that you will do an excellent, impressive presentation. Then you can write in the comment box saying that you made a presentation and what responses, what praise you got for your presentation. That's all for now. Thank you and all the best.